This is Chanel Bunger with the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast, and today I have with me partner at RSM, Rick Kess. Rick joins the podcast regularly to keep us updated on the private equity investing environment. Rick, thank you so much for joining me today. What are some of the trends that you're currently watching?
Yeah, thanks. At RSM, we serve thousands of private equity groups and even more of their portfolio companies. And when we talk to them, we can continue to kind of hear very similar themes and kind of continue to kind of monitor relatively consistent trends. And I'd say the big theme is probably no one's surprise is interest rates. And obviously we had some potentially positive news from the Fed recently regarding, potentially slowing down or pausing interest rate hikes in the near future. And then I think, maybe perhaps couple that with some, relatively recent news around inflation and perhaps inflation, at least in some respects, stabilizing to a point as compared to historical periods, specifically as when I say historical periods, perhaps more specifically to last year's inflationary numbers. So, perhaps some higher levels of hope related to interest rate changes in the near future. And I know we've discussed in the past as interest rates continue to rise and there's uncertainty, obviously that puts some level of kind of additional concern in people's minds. But as certainty comes back to play, and if we can feel like we at least know where interest rates are going to stop going up, perhaps that will give investors, buyers, lenders, others kind of the confidence to move forward with the plans that they have. So obviously interest rates not being anybody's surprise, but hopefully perhaps that's kind of slowly becoming less and less of a focal point. I'd say the other thing that coupled with the inflation, the job market and what's happening there, I think we continue to see more and more large multinational companies rethink their labor footprint. You're seeing large companies continue to have layoffs, and as I think Scott mentioned in one of the last podcasts that we recorded, some of these companies may be laying off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% of their entire workforce, but that might be thousands and thousands of people. And for RSM and other organizations focused on the middle market, our clientele can ideally benefit from some of that. Some of those people that are entering the workforce now that haven't been in that employer looking view, that they haven't been on the market, so to speak, for many, many years. These people can perhaps come work at some of the middle market firms that we continue to work with, and hopefully, cure some of that concern that a lot of our clients have around, finding people and people to perform the skills necessary that, will help them grow. So, I think continuing to monitor the impact of some of those, larger number layoffs, but maybe not the larger percentage layoffs from some of those larger companies, and where those people end up finding employment, in the near future. I think will continue to be an area where our clients will hopefully be able to find opportunity to kind of use that additional talent to achieve their growth goals and kind of what they were setting out to do. So I'd say, again, to recap, interest rates and labor continue to be the two top items that consistently come up in our conversations with our private equity group clients, as well as our portfolio companies that are owned by private equity.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Rick, and thank you for joining me today on the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. I look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot.